Your brain doesn't know the difference between a toxic relationship and a tiger chasing you. Both flood your body with cortisol, a poison that shrinks your courage, your clarity, even your memories. But what if your pain isn't a weakness? What if it's a life-saving alarm, a primal scream from your soul that says, enough? Today, we'll decode 10 science-backed signals your body and mind use to scream the truth you've been silencing. This isn't about blame, it's about breaking chains. I'm Adam from Higher Cognition, and 3 years ago, I sat where you might be right now, heart racing, scrolling for answers at 2 a.m., wondering, is it me? Am I giving up too soon? Then I met Clara, a nurse who stayed in a crumbling marriage until her hair started falling out from stress. Her body literally said no more. Her story and decades of research taught me this. The bravest thing you can do is stop negotiating with your own worth. So let's uncover these 10 signs together, not to force a choice, but to give you the power to choose. Sign number 1, the 5-to-1 positivity ratio breakdown, unmasking the hidden imbalance. Let me tell you about Sarah. For months, she rationed compliments like water in a desert. Your laugh still gives me butterflies, she'd say. But every time she tried to connect, her partner's eyes stayed glued to his phone. Just a rough patch, she told herself, until her cortisol levels spiked 27% higher than war veterans in a Johns Hopkins study. This isn't drama, it's your nervous system screaming. Dr. Gottman's 5-1 magic ratio isn't pop psychology, it's survival. 5 moments of joy to counteract 1 hurt. Why? Because your brain evolved to Velcro the bad and Teflon the good. Every eye roll, every cold shoulder, it carves neural pathways deeper than Grand Canyon rifts. But here's what no one tells you. Love isn't a feeling, it's a ritual. So tonight, try this. Before bed, whisper 1 specific praise that made your partner blush when you first met. I still love how your eyes crinkle when you fake laugh at dad jokes. If they freeze, if they scoff. That's not a red flag. That's your soul being erased, pixel by pixel. And if you're sitting there thinking, but I'm the one always giving 5, then hold on, because sign number 2 reveals why loneliness in love is more lethal than smoking and how to escape it. You deserve more than crumbs. Sign number 2, the alone together illusion. Have you ever sat right beside someone and felt completely unseen? Let me tell you about Sarah. For years, she'd curl into her partner's side every night, scrolling silently while their laughter turned to static. She told herself this is just how relationships go, but her body knew better. That's right. Science proves emotional neglect literally hurts. A 2023 study found that feeling lonelier with your partner than alone isn't just sadness. It's a biological alarm. Your cortisol levels skyrocket. Your immune system weakens. You're not overreacting. You're dying slowly. This is the alone together illusion, when we becomes just 2 bodies haunting the same space. And here's the tragic twist. Your brain clings to these empty moments, replaying them like a scratched record, because familiar pain feels safer than uncertain freedom. So tonight I want you to try something radical. After this video, put your phone down, turn to whoever's beside you, and ask 1 real question. What's 1 dream you're afraid to tell me? If they pause their scroll, if their eyes finally meet yours, that's your bridge back. If they shrug, that static isn't just noise. It's the sound of your worth screaming to be heard. You deserve more than a ghost story. And if what I just said made your chest ache, stay with me. Because sign number 3 is where your body starts screaming the truth your mind's too terrified to say. Sign number 3, your body's SOS, when love feels like a war zone. Let me ask you something. Have you ever laid in bed, exhausted, but your mind won't stop racing? Your chest tightens, your stomach knots, and you tell yourself, it's just stress? But what if I told you your body isn't just feeling stress? It's screaming for survival. Stanford scientists discovered chronic relationship stress doesn't just hurt, it rewires you. It shrinks the hippocampus, the very part of your brain that holds your happiest memories, until you can barely remember what joy felt like. This isn't a metaphor. Those unexplained headaches, nights staring at the ceiling, gut pain that doctors can't diagnose, that's your body's last stand. You see, cortisol isn't just a stress chemical. It's a biological alarm bell evolved over millions of years to scream, danger! And right now, yours is ringing at DEFCON 1. Maybe you've blamed work, or caffeine, or just getting older. But deep down, every time they dismiss you, every passive-aggressive text, your cells are storing that pain. Your body becomes a battlefield. And love shouldn't feel like war. I need you to do something tonight. Place your hand over your heart. Feel that beat? That's you fighting for you. Now ask, if my best friend described these symptoms, what would I beg them to do? Because here's the secret. Healing starts the moment you stop silencing your body's SOS. And if you're realizing this pain isn't normal, stay with me. The next sign? It's why staying too long doesn't just hurt now, it steals who you're meant to become. Sign number 4, future self fading away. Let me tell you about Maya. For years, she buried her dream of becoming a teacher because her partner mocked her passion as unrealistic. One night, she stumbled on a study that shook her to her core. Psychology Today found that people who see their partner as a barrier to their future self have a 70% higher chance of walking away. Why? Because your brain is wired to protect future you like a mother guarding her child. Close your eyes for a second. Picture yourself 5 years from now. That future you is sitting across the table, staring into your soul. What do they say? Thank you for staying. Or, why did you let them shrink me? That tightness in your chest right now? That's your anterior cingulate cortex, the brain's conflict detector, screaming, don't betray us. Here's your power move. Tonight, write a letter from your future self. Start with, Dear your name, I need to tell you what happens if you stay. If your hands shake while writing, your soul already knows the answer. And if you're thinking, but what if leaving destroys me? That's exactly why we're tackling sign number 5 next. The silent killer. 83% of people ignore until it's too late. Sign number 5, the eggshell walk. Every step, every word. Let me tell you about Sarah. For 3 years, she whispered her thoughts, choking back opinions, laughter, even tears, just to keep the peace. One day, her therapist asked her, when did you become the ghost in your own relationship? Science calls this the eggshell walk, a survival tactic as old as our primal brain. Your amygdala, that almond-shaped alarm system, isn't just reacting to lions or wildfires anymore. It's screaming, danger, every time your partner walks into the room. Here's the heartbreaking truth. Chronic fear in relationships doesn't just hurt your heart, it rewires your brain. Stanford neuroscientists found that living in this state for 6+ months shrinks the prefrontal cortex, the very part that helps you think, hope, dream. I'd rehearse conversations in the shower, delete texts 10 times before sending. One night, I realized I missed my own voice. If this is you, I need you to hear this. Love shouldn't taste like swallowed words. Dating coach Amira Johnson, who specializes in trauma recovery, puts it bluntly, when you're editing your soul to fit someone else's mood swings, that's not intimacy. That's captivity. But here's the light breaking through. Your body knows. Those knots in your stomach, the breath you've been holding since minute 1 of this section, that's wisdom. And today, we reclaim it. Try this tonight, the 3-second pause. Before you speak, ask, am I shrinking or expanding? If it's the former, write it here. 1 week of entries and patterns emerge. And if every page screams survival, your answer is already written. But what happens when silence becomes the only language left? That's sign 6, and it's why even therapists call it the point of no return. Sign number 6, vanishing repair attempts. Let me tell you about Sarah and Jake. For years, their secret code, a silly penguin impression, could diffuse any fight. But one day, Jake tried it after a brutal argument. Sarah didn't laugh, she didn't even look up. That silence, it wasn't just quiet, it was the sound of a bridge collapsing. Our brains are wired to crave connection, even in conflict. When you crack a joke, reach for a hand, or whisper, I still choose us, you're throwing a lifeline. But if your partner lets it drop over and over, neuroscience shows something devastating happens. Your amygdala starts registering them as a threat, not a teammate, a threat. So here's your power move. The next time tensions rise, don't just test the waters. Build a damn bridge. Try the 2-minute repair rule. Say their secret nickname. Hum your song. If they freeze, if their eyes stay cold, that's not just a missed moment. That's your nervous system learning to stop hoping. You deserve someone who fights for you, not against you, because love isn't about never breaking. It's about who shows up to glue the pieces back together. But what happens when even those lifelines vanish? That's when we arrive at sign number 7, the curiosity cliff, where connection doesn't just bend, it shatters. Sign number 7, the curiosity cliff, when love stops asking why. Imagine this. You're sitting across from someone who once hung on your every word. They knew your childhood fear of thunderstorms, your obsession with 90s cereal mascots. Now, you're met with silence that screams, I don't care to know you anymore. Harvard's 12-year study on emotional starvation found couples who stop asking questions activate the same brain regions as physical pain. Let that sink in. Neglecting curiosity isn't just busyness, it's starving your partner's soul. And here's the gut punch. 83%, 83% of divorcees said they stopped wondering about me long before papers were filed. I want you to try something tonight. Look at your partner and ask 3 questions you've never dared. What childhood memory still haunts you? What's the dream you're too scared to tell anyone? When did you last feel truly loved by me? If they deflect, if their eyes stay glued to their phone, you're not just losing a lover, you're burying the detectives who once vowed to solve the mystery of you. But if they lean in, if their voice shakes as they answer, you've just found the match to rekindle a dying fire. The choice? Stay in the ashes or rise. Sign number 8, the fantasy escape hatch. Have you ever caught yourself daydreaming of escape? Not just a vacation, but a life where you're lighter, where you don't have to shrink your laughter or apologize for existing. Science calls this the fantasy escape hatch, and it's not whimsy. It's a biological cry for survival. A 2022 study in personal relationships found that 70% of people who frequently fantasize about single life or an ideal partner are subconsciously rehearsing an emotional exit. Their limbic system is literally rewiring itself to seek safety, even if it's imaginary. Let me tell you about Clara. For years, she'd sit in her car after work, dreading the walk inside. So she'd close her eyes and imagine backpacking through Iceland, alone. The crunch of glaciers, the silence, no one telling her she was too much. Her therapist warned her, "Clara, fantasies aren't the problem. They're your soul's desperate plea to be heard." Here's the gut punch truth Mark Manson shared with me. Love isn't a fairy tale. But if your daydreams feel more like home than your reality, that's not failure. That's dignity, refusing to die. Your brain doesn't lie. Those fantasies, they're dopamine drafts of a life you're starving for. So tonight, I dare you. Grab a journal, write the wildest, most selfish fantasy you've buried. Then ask, does this relationship have space for this version of me? If your chest tightens, you already know. Next, we'll uncover how your own words are betraying your heart. But until then, let those fantasies breathe. They're not running away. They're leading you home. Sign number 9, the silent betrayal of we, when language reveals a broken heart. Let me tell you a story about Sarah. For years, she'd text her partner, "We should try that new Thai place," or "Our song is on." But one day, she caught herself typing, "I need space. I can't do this. No we anymore. Just I." That's when she knew. Her heart had already left. University of Texas psychologists found that couples who use we language have 40% lower cortisol levels. Their bodies literally feel safer together. But when I dominates, it's like conducting a linguistic autopsy on love. Every lonely pronoun carves another crack in the foundation. Here's your gut check. Last week, when you scraped your car, did you say, "We'll figure it out," or "I'll handle it alone"? Your brain's doing something brutal here. Every I reinforces neural pathways of isolation. Every we you abandon starves the bond of oxygen. This isn't grammar, it's grief in real time. I did this once. Stopped saying we, told myself I was being independent. Know what the research says? Couples who drop we during fights take 3x longer to recover. 3 times. So tonight, try this. Place one hand on your heart. Say out loud, "We're scared, we're hurting, we deserve better." If we feels like a lie, your heart is already whispering the truth and science is screaming it. But what if you're still unsure? The final sign will leave you breathless. Sign number 10, the ache of ambivalence. Have you ever stood so still that the weight of a single decision hurts? Like your soul is split in two? UC Berkeley didn't just study ambivalence. They proved it's killing you. Literally, when you're trapped between stay and go, your body floods with cortisol as if you're being hunted, 34% higher inflammation. Your cells scream what your mind won't admit. Indecision isn't kindness. It's slow self-destruction. But here's the secret your brain hides from you. Your heart already knows the answer. I want you to try this tonight. Write the breakup letter you'll never send. Not to blame, not to wound, but to free the truth suffocating inside you. Pay attention to your body as you write. Do your shoulders drop? Does your chest loosen? That's not giving up. That's your nervous system whispering, "Thank God you're finally listening." Ambivalence isn't a crossroads, it's emotional quicksand. The longer you stand still, the deeper it pulls you under. But here's the miracle. The moment you choose you, even if you're terrified, is the moment the chains around your ankles snap, and suddenly you can breathe again. Let me tell you a story you already know. It's the one where your heart aches in the middle of the night, whispering, "This isn't how love should feel." Science calls it cognitive dissonance. Your body calls it survival. But you call it guilt, shame. Maybe I'm not trying hard enough. Here's the truth: your nervous system has been screaming. Staying in a dying relationship doesn't make you loyal. It makes you a prisoner of potential, of what ifs. That hollow pit in your stomach? UCLA researchers found it's literal. Chronic emotional pain reduces gray matter in regions linked to self-esteem. Every day you stay uncertain, you're not just hurting, you're erasing yourself. But here's what the science and survivors agree on. Walking away isn't failure. It's the bravest act of love you'll ever commit. Love for the child you were, who deserved safety. Love for the future you, who will thrive. This isn't goodbye. It's a rebirth. And you don't have to do it alone. Tap that colors below. Green for I'm gathering my strength. Red for I'm ready to rise. Let's flood these comments with stories science will study someday as proof of human resilience. That resource guide? It's not a PDF. It's a lifeline I wish I'd had when I sat where you are. Use it. Then come back here and tell me one thing, just one, you rediscovered about yourself. Your joy, your voice, your right to take up space. The world needs you whole, not half alive, not good enough. Your future self isn't just waiting, they're fighting for you. Meet them halfway.